All right, so we're diving into construction engineering today.
And wow, you guys, listeners, you really went deep with the research this time.
You aren't kidding around.
Not even.
Okay.
So we're talking way more than just, those basic brochures about this career path.
Yeah, way more. This is about like the real deal, what it actually takes to make it in construction engineering.
The nitty-gritty.
Exactly.
The skills you need, the challenges you'll face, all of it.
You really wanted to understand what a construction engineer actually does day to day, right? And it's more than just hard hats and blueprints, that's for sure.
More than just saying build that and then magically a skyscraper appears.
Right. And your research got that. It looked at how construction engineers are kind of like the bridge between an idea and a finished building.
Okay, I like that, the bridge.
Yeah.
So paint the picture for us. Say I'm, I don't know, fresh out of school. I want to be a construction engineer. What am I actually doing? What's my day look like?
Well, imagine this. You're on site, right? Sun's probably glazing. There's noise everywhere, people running around.
Organized chaos.
Pretty much. And you are the one who's making sure everything goes according to plan, that the architect's vision is actually becoming a reality.
So you're like a conductor, but instead of an orchestra, you've got this whole construction site.
Exactly. You're translating those complex designs, making sure every beam is in the right place, that all the materials meet safety codes, you name it.
So you're problem solving on a massive scale.
Every single day.
I remember you pointing out that example from the research, the bridge project. Was it in Dubai?
Oh, yeah. Where they had that issue with the soil.
They had to fly in special sand or something.
Right. Exactly. That kind of thing can totally derail a project.
And it's the construction engineer's job to get things back on track.
And that takes serious problem-solving skills, thinking on your feet, and honestly working well with a lot of different people.
Right, because you're dealing with the architects, the construction crews, probably even the clients sometimes.
Communication is absolutely key in this field. One miscommunication could mean huge delays, blown budgets, even safety hazards.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing the technical stuff. You need some serious people skills too.
Oh, 100%. And that came up a lot in your research, too, how important those soft skills are.
Which is interesting because when people think construction, they probably don't think communication right away.
Right. But you need both to succeed.
So speaking of succeeding, the job market for construction engineers, your research mentioned it seems like a bit of a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, on one hand, there's high demand, which is great, job security, all that. But on the other hand, it's competitive.
Oh, for sure. It's not enough to just have the degree anymore. Companies are looking for graduates who can hit the ground running, who can solve problems, adapt to new situations, because the construction industry is changing all the time.
Especially with technology, right? I saw a lot about BIM software in the research.
BIM is huge right now. It's changing how buildings are designed and constructed.
So, break it down for us. What is BIM in a nutshell?
Imagine those giant blueprints you always see architects huddled over, right? BIM takes those 2D drawings and creates a 3D model everyone can interact with.
So it's like digital Legos for buildings.
That's a great way to put it. You can visualize the entire project, from the foundation to the electrical wiring, all in one place.
And that helps avoid problems before they even happen.
Absolutely. You can spot clashes, optimize designs, even simulate different construction scenarios. It makes the whole process so much more efficient and sustainable. And then you've got drones for surveying, robotics on construction sites. It's mind-blowing how much tech is being incorporated now.
Sounds like the learning never really stops in this field.
You got that right. A good construction engineer is always learning, always adapting to the latest technology and best practices.
It's not a career for someone who wants to do the same thing every day.
Definitely not. But that's what makes it so exciting.
So you've got this solid foundation in math and science. You've embraced the world of technology. What's next? How do you actually break into this constantly evolving field?
Well, it all starts with that all-important first step education. You need that solid foundation, right? And for most folks, that means a bachelor's degree.
Okay, so civil engineering, is that the usual path?
Yeah, usually civil engineering. Sometimes you'll see construction engineering programs too.
So you've aced those classes, got the formulas memorized, you're ready to build. Right.
Hold your horses. It's not like they just hand you a skyscraper project on day one.
Right, more like a toolbox and a hard hat and tell you to, I don't know, go inspect something?
Pretty much. You'll likely start as a junior construction engineer.
Okay, so you're learning the ropes from the more experienced folks.
Exactly. Think of it like an apprenticeship. You're assisting on projects, getting hands-on experience, really seeing how things work in the real world.
Because there's a big difference between reading about something in a textbook And then actually seeing it happen on a construction site, right?
100%. And this is where those soft skills we talked about come in handy.
Oh, right, because you're not just dealing with concrete and steel, you've got to work with people too. Tons of people. Project managers, subcontractors, clients, everyone's got a stake in the game.
So being able to communicate clearly, that's huge.
Essential. And staying calm under pressure because things can get pretty hectic on a construction site.
I bet. Okay, so let's say you've put in the time, honed those skills. What does moving up the ladder look like?
Well, once you've got some experience under your belt, you'll probably step into a full-fledged construction engineer role.
More responsibility, bigger projects, that sort of thing.
Exactly. You might even start managing your own smaller projects, working more independently.
And that probably means more collaboration with architects, maybe even doing some of the design work yourself.
Oh yeah, you become much more involved in the design phase.
Yeah.
You're not just executing someone else's vision anymore. You're contributing to it.
And this is where those professional certifications you mentioned earlier, those become really valuable, right? Absolutely. Certifications can really give you an edge, especially when you're going for those more senior roles.
We saw a lot about the PE license in the research, the professional engineer license.
Right. The PE is huge in this field. It's the gold standard, basically.
But it's not easy to get, is it?
No, it's pretty rigorous.
Yeah.
Years of experience, you need recommendations from other licensed engineers.
And then those exams. I've heard they're intense.
They don't mess around, but it's worth it.
Because it shows potential employers that you're the real deal.
Exactly. It means you meet a certain level of competency, ethically and professionally. And for some roles, it's not even optional, it's mandatory.
Makes sense, especially if you're working on projects that impact public safety. You want to know those engineers are top-notch.
Absolutely. It's all about trust and accountability.
Now, what about those other certifications, like a GLADE? I know sustainability is becoming a big deal in construction.
LE, yeah, that's leadership in energy and environmental design. It's all about making buildings more eco-friendly, you know?
Using sustainable materials, reducing energy consumption, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And it's not just good for the environment. It can save money in the long run, too.
Lower energy bills, less waste. It's a win-win.
Right. And having that LAAD accreditation shows you're committed to those principles, that you're not just building, you're building responsibly.
It's like that extra layer of expertise, that commitment to sustainability. It's impressive.
It makes you a more competitive candidate, for sure.
So we've talked about the skills, the education, the importance of staying ahead of the curve with certifications. Now what? How do you actually land your dream job in this competitive field? Okay, so you've aced your classes, got the certifications, you're ready to wow those hiring managers.
It's showtime.
Exactly. But even with all the right qualifications, you still have to nail that interview.
It's true. An interview is your chance to bring all that experience to life. Show them who you are as a construction engineer.
So what are hiring managers looking for in this field? What kind of questions should you be prepared for?
Well, they'll want to hear about your technical skills, obviously, but they'll dig deeper than just what's on your resume.
They want to know how you think, how you approach problems.
Exactly. Be ready to talk about challenges you faced on projects, how you overcame them.
Like that Dubai Bridge situation we talked about. Having a good story or two up your sleeve, that's crucial.
Absolutely. And think about the skills you used, the lessons you learned from those experiences.
They want to see you're not just repeating what you read in a textbook, you've actually applied it.
Right. And they want to know you're thinking about the big picture, like safety and ethical practices.
Because at the end of the day, you're not just building a structure. You're building something that people will use that has to be safe.
Exactly. It's about responsibility, accountability, all of that.
Okay, so you've nailed the technical questions, you've impressed them with your problem-solving skills. What else?
Don't underestimate the power of networking.
Ah, right. Because construction is a people business. It's all about relationships.
It really is. Building a strong network can open so many doors in this industry.
So where do you even begin?
Professional organizations are a great starting point. The American Society of Civil Engineers, the Construction Management Association of America, check those out.
Attend industry events, conferences, those sorts of things.
Exactly. And don't forget about LinkedIn.
Right. LinkedIn. It's like your digital business card.
It's essential for connecting with people, staying up to date on industry trends.
It's like laying the foundation for your future career, one connection at a time.
I like that. Because that's what this whole journey is about, building something that lasts.
And speaking of building, we've covered so much ground here. The skills you need, the importance of continuous learning, the power of networking.
It's a lot to take in, but it's all essential for success in this field.
So, to our listener who's ready to roll up their sleeves and dive into the world of construction engineering, what's that final piece of advice, that one key takeaway?
Never stop learning. Never be afraid to embrace new challenges. And always remember that you're building the future, one project at a time.
From bridges that connect communities to skyscrapers that touch the clouds.
The possibilities are endless.
And who knows? Maybe you'll be the one building those Martian settlements we hear so much about these days.
Now that's an exciting thought.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive into construction engineering. We hope you feel inspired to go out there and build the career of your dreams.
And build a brighter future for us all.
Until next time, keep those hard hats on and keep building.